Hello, 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 and welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, 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 grow together. How are you doing today? I hope all is well with you. I hope that things are looking up for you and that you are allowing this season of gratitude and thanksgiving to fill your heart, and that you're not becoming anxious about getting ready for the gathering when you're going to be meeting with your family members, but you are preparing yourself and getting yourself ready for that great moment where you all come together to give thanks for the year and for what um, goodness has come your way. So, one of the things that I want us to talk about today has to do with the garden. And I know that we put a lot of energy into the summer garden and into gardening our tomatoes and peppers and those summer crops. But then, I was listening to Charles Darwin, I think his name is. Anyway, he was saying that it is possible to extend the season and not to stop growing food even in the wintertime, to continue to grow. Of course, it does matter which region of the country that you're in and how you're going to go about doing that. But it seems like more and more the trend is to continue growing food in your garden and to try to continue to get that fresh food from your garden. So I wanted us to have a conversation about that. What are your thoughts about growing food during the winter, and how would you go about doing it, and to what extent? And are you willing to stretch yourself and do that, to grow a winter garden in some form or way, and then allowing it to supply you with green produce, with fresh foods, so that you can continue to eat fresh during the winter months. And we know of course, different ways of taking our produce from the summertime, because we're harvesting and gathering, and many people can their foods, they freeze their foods, and they do all of these other things. They have these different methods of preserving their food. But what about actually continuing to grow your food, or have your food um, come from the ground fresh, that you pick it that same day from the ground, and bring it in and eat? And there are, it seems to be, very possible that people are doing that, and they're doing that by using different methods and ways to extend their growing season, so that they don't have to go to the grocery store for fresh produce, but that they can actually continue to save their money and grow their own food, which we all agree is much more healthier, much more richer, dense, with nutrition and nutritious value is there with growing our own food. So, what do you think about that? What is your opinion? And some people, how to eat fresh food from their garden year round just seems to be the topic of the hour. That people want to continue to eat fresh. They don't want to necessarily close down their gardens completely, but they want to eat fresh. So, how to eat fresh food from your garden year round seems to be the topic at hand. Um, Not much gardening is going on right now, of course. We are really just doing a lot of cleanup, gathering things together and putting our garden to bed, or just basically planting our tulips and daffodils and things like that. But yet, when I look out at my garden and my kitchen garden area, I still see my kale and collard greens and mustard greens looking so good. even though there has been a frost. Yes, I experienced my first frost, and I don't have any more of those beautiful impatient flowers looking at me and coloring my garden, for they've all turned to mush. And my dahlias stems are mush now. And so I know that garden cleanup is now, and that the garden as I know it is over. That time is over, and we have been so fortunate to have season of a long extended fall season of warm temperatures, in which a lot of our annuals have been able to survive the cold. But finally, it has come, at least this week, um, last night actually, that the cold frost has hit my garden, and now it is truly time to clean up the garden and get things put away. However, as I said, when I was looking out of my bedroom window, which looks down into the kitchen garden, I noticed that the collard greens, the kale, the mustard leaves were still looking very good, and they didn't seem to suffer as much from the frost as those summer annuals and flowers had. So that it made me think about possibly extending my vegetable garden and having the opportunity to actually still pick my fresh kale and collards and other greens from the garden. And then in that garden area, I also sowed beets and carrots, and they are still in the ground. And they say that you can actually um, possibly eat from them. So that is the discussion today: how to eat fresh food from your garden year round. Is it possible? And if so, how would you do it? Will you be able to do that? Hello, who has joined me? Sonia, Miss Catherine, good to see you today. I would like to grow year round. I get snow and freezing temps. Yeah, so do I, Sonia. So good to have you with me. Yeah, I have that as well. And so when I saw that, when I was looking through and trying to figure out what to have us discuss, that I felt the same way. I thought, well, hey, it's going to be too cold. But of course, I think we already kind of know what to do in a sense, because one of the things that you can do that is by growing in pots. Growing in pots, either in a sheltered spot indoors, or even on a porch, or in pots near close to the home, where but you have to provide some form of covering, maybe a coal frame or an unheated greenhouse or something like that. But yes, one would have to think it through a little bit, but it seems like it is very possible. I remember that Thelma did that. Yankee Sister Homestead had actually grown her vegetables, her lettuce and greens on her porch, and she had it covered. Good. Hello, Deborah. How are you? Good evening to you, Deborah. Nice to have you come and join us. That is wonderful. Um, and yeah, so it seems like that is um, it's something that can be done. It's just that we have to have the desire, I guess, to want to extend our eating. But even with looking at my channel, when you're doing good, that's great. That's great, Deborah. When I'm looking at my channel, there are ads that are coming up where people are just really talking about of that. And it seems like they're really pushing how to eat fresh foods continually throughout the year. And Deborah, I think you've done that, haven't you? Haven't you continued, extended your garden during the winter months where you're eating lettuce, that you've grown lettuce and other leafy greens? If so, come on, give us some inspiration for Sonia and I and whoever else comes on who wants to possibly continue eating fresh foods. I know we're talking about the bottle sowing, but that's more or less trying to get a jump start into growing things for the spring. But I'm more talking about eating fresh greens. Yes, I am. Yes, yes. So you can give us some tips as well. I was also thinking of microgreens, how the people also grow microgreens. I remember one year I did attempt to grow some microgreens, but I wasn't so sure about it. But that is another way too, that you can grow and then eat the sprouts, grow sprouts, and that's another way that you can get in nutrients and fresh greens in. But winter gardening, so I found this article on it, and actually I found two articles. This one says how to eat fresh fruit from your garden year round, and it says not much gardening is going on right now, which is one of the reasons the person says, I love gardening so much. If I had to pull weeds and deal with bugs year round, I would probably need therapy. And that is true. Winter gardening seems to be, the benefits of winter gardening seems to be that there are less, I still have colored from last winter. Yeah, yes, yes, my collards are looking so good. And I don't want to pull it up. How did you preserve your collard greens and kept it from last winter? Is it that you stored the food, or is it actually your collard green plant is still alive from last winter? Deborah, let me know. Um, so winter gardening, it says 22 best vegetables and herbs to grow during the winter. Um, and the benefits are that one, that it won't require a lot of work because of the fact that the temperatures are cold, and a lot of the pests and bugs that you would normally have to deal with during the summertime, you don't have to deal with so much in the winter because the winter temperatures kill those bugs. There's less watering because of the less sunlight and the evaporation, that you don't have to water as much. And some people say that those vegetables are more tasty. The fresh vegetables, the lettuce, the kale, and some of these cabbages and so forth, that they actually taste more tasty from the home garden because of the sugars that are trapped in the 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 root vegetables, and like the carrots are sweeter and the beets are sweeter, so forth, because of the cold. That the sugars are more in the vegetables. And then, of course, we know that if you are actually growing your own lettuce and so forth, that is less grocery bills. Deborah says, what did you say, Deborah? Don't detract your, I still have colors from last year. What did you say? Your message got retracted, Deborah, so I don't know what you said. But put it back out there. We want to hear. We're just talking about it. It's an idea. That's why I put it down as a question. I rephrased it as a question. How do we do this. And if people are interested in extending their gardening season and growing during the winter. So it's a thought, and I see that it's possible because, as I said, last night I had a cold freeze, and my annuals just, of course, like the impatiens and the dahlias, they just turned to mush. It was just, I knew it was over. But my collard greens and my kale were still standing up erect, looking so good. And I could go out because the night temperatures were, I taught the pests and they are better this year. What do you mean you taught the pests and they are better this year? Um, you got rid of the pests, and so your collards are better this year? You fought the pests. Okay, you fought the pests. Okay. Um, yeah, yeah. So you did some work on removing the pests. Yeah. So I would think that that would be really good. Um, that would make it easier. Um, but as I was saying, like the collards and my collard greens are looking good. The mustard greens are still looking good, and the beets and the root vegetables, like the other root vegetables, the carrots, are still growing. Even though the frost came, it did not affect my vegetables. So then, how do I continue to protect them and keep them so that I can eat throughout the year, at least further in until it really gets snowy and cold? Um, and I think that that is something to think about because, one, you have less grocery bills, and I don't know about you, but for me, I haven't had to shop in the produce section of the supermarket because I've been getting my produce from my garden. I have been eating what I'm growing, and it's just made it so much easier that I really don't have to um, shop in the produce section. Um, but then I was looking at this, it was saying too with the winter gardening that some of the plants that grow well in the winter garden are vegetables you can grow in the off season and that are winter tough. Winter is a tough season for growing plants, especially in vegetable gardens, as we know. But you don't have to wait for the spring or summer to plant your garden. It was saying that you could actually grow a winter garden at home, and that some vegetables, when planted at the right time and protected with care, you'd be able to keep. Um, and Deborah was saying, no, the pests eat them down to the ground, but I kept nourishing them. I was able to get a few meals during the summer. Okay, okay. Um, so the benefit, so yeah, I guess it depends too on your region where you live and if it isn't too cold or if your season is extended. Like for us this year, it seemed that a lot of people, a lot of places or parts of the country that our 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 fall season was extended, and it took a while before the frost came in, all the way through in October, late October now, so that the garden is still alive, or was still alive for a long period of time throughout October. And people were still harvesting from their gardens. And then, as I said, as I looked and I saw that I could still harvest from my garden with those crops like kale and collards and the mustards, um, that is a good thing to do to extend one's growing season, and that one can continue to eat fresh throughout the winter, or extend it in as much as possible, out, I should say, into maybe even to December before it starts to snow heavy. Maybe we'll still be able to eat from the garden. But this is some of the things that I got from this article. It was saying that the benefits, that it won't require a lot of work um, out to have a winter garden. There's less watering because of the less sunlight. Another benefit is the taste of the vegetables that you'll be able to eat fresh from the home garden. Less grocery bills, that you enjoy your garden space year round, that it's not just for a certain time, but you can continue growing. Um, and then winter gardening involves vegetables you can grow during the coldest months of the year. And they were giving some suggestions on how you may be able to do this, how you may be able to extend and protect your vegetables. One of the things that they suggested was to grow in pots indoors so that you can grow some of your vegetables in pots. Well, we know, for example, you could grow herbs. You could put some herbs on the windowsill and continue to grow your herbs on the windowsill, like parsley or mint. Um, things like that, basil, that can still grow indoors but in pots on your windowsill. That way you can add them to your cooking, fresh foods to your vegetables to your cooking. Um, but then also there are some people who grow their vegetables and things in pots on a porch. I hope Thelma comes on because Thelma did that a couple years back, I believe. She has a video on it, on how she had created a place on her porch that was sheltered, that she was able to grow her lettuce and some of her other green leafy vegetables. That so all she had to do was walk out on her porch. I guess she had created like a greenhouse, one of those plastic greenhouses, that she was able to shelter them so that they could last longer. Deborah says, we are expecting a frost Friday, so I'm going to harvest my last peppers and the sugar snap peas. I'm growing a beautiful salad um, bowl, the Dollar Tree stacked pots. Oh, yes! Yes, that's true. Yeah, the Dollar Tree stacked pots. That's really good. Oh, that's right. Soil and Margaritas. I don't know if you've ever watched her YouTube channel, but she was showing the stackable pots too. Yeah, and the Roots and Refuge, Jess, she always talks about that, having those stackable pots too, that's one way that one can grow in them and shelter them, cover them up so that they don't, um, to protect the vegetables, the lettuce and things that are being grown in those stackable pots. But yeah, the Dollar Tree stackable pots, that's great. That's great. Yeah, that's definitely one way that one can grow on the deck or on, um, you know, in pots. They're on my porch along with the onions and the mums. Yeah. Sonia says, I have a patio and two small greenhouses, so I'll try and use those to grow some things year round. Yes, Sonia, you got it. You got it. You got two greenhouses. Yes. Yes. That's good. Two small greenhouses. Yeah, so you have the tools. You already have um, something to protect them with. Excellent. Excellent. So to grow in pots indoors during the winter, protecting so some of them you can protect both with heat or an unheated greenhouse. So those greenhouses, plastic greenhouses, would be the unheated green would be an unheated greenhouse or a coal frame. So I get the big point would be where the location that you'd want to put them where you get the most sun, where they can get the most sun, because the sun coming in will heat it. And during the night, I guess if it's really, really cold, you could put a blanket over it. So you can do this, and it's not too much work. Yes, Deborah! Woo! Yes, I feel good. I'm glad I'm talking about this because it's very doable. It would be doable. And the thing is that I have that plastic, the plastic that they use to cover greenhouses with. I was going to build a greenhouse, and I had bought the plastic and everything. And maybe there's a way of possibly covering that area where I do have my in-ground plants, that I can cover it with the plastic. Um, and protect them overwinter them too. I know. I guess if one thinks outside of the box, and starts to stretch one's um, thinking, that it can happen. Yeah, it depends too. I think the other thing is that the if we have a lot of snow, how does one, well, if you have a covered porch or someplace like that, then you won't have to worry about the snow coming in so much. My porch is not covered, so that might be a little issue. Or maybe not. Maybe the snow would be like an insulator for the plants too, and help to bring in, because they're protected, the sun coming. Hey, Francesca, how are you? How are you doing? So good to have you. We're talking about how to eat fresh from your garden year round, and how to create a way of extending our eating of fresh foods during the winter time. And the article was talking about winter gardening involves vegetables you can grow during the coldest months of the year. And you can either grow in pots indoors during the winter, or you can grow in pots in an unheated greenhouse or a cold frame, and anything like that. Do you have a cold frame, Francesca? Anything like that in your area? I know that you are in Minnesota. In Minnesota, you're in the Midwest anyway, and you grow crops. Excuse me. So that's something to think about. Yeah, we talked about putting up a greenhouse house with a rocket stove. Oh, to heat it, to heat. Oh, okay. I heard about things. Good afternoon, Sister Sonia. Yes. Francesca's saying hello. Um, So, potted winter plants that require protection from cold winds and frost would be, so you can, plants that can grow in the cold in the winter but will need some protection would be like broccoli, cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts, right? But for the outdoor winter garden, be like vegetables that thrive during the winter and grow well in cold regions, like leafy greens for winter salads, arugula, mustard greens, winter mix, and lettuce. Yeah, so these can actually stand some cold, but they'll need some protection. And then they were saying some of the other plants and things that you can grow, or vegetables that you can grow, are onions, parsley, lettuce, spinach, garlic, protection with a layer of fleece or cover. Yeah, so some kind of fleece or cover, or even just, some kind of plastic over it, and beets and broad beans. But I thought that this was interesting, this idea of extending the garden. And just because, as I said, when I looked out and I saw that my kale was still surviving and my collard greens are still surviving, even though everything else in the garden, the soft annuals, had disappeared, but they were still looking edible, and then of course the carrots that are in the ground still, and beets that I still have in the ground. How can I winter them and then actually even eat them because they've been in there for a while. We have a greenhouse we set up in summer and take it off when it got super hot. Yeah, so that's what you could use. So you're already set in a sense, Francesca, it's only on part of the garden. Yeah, that you can actually start to reuse, to put that back into action. Um, and there are different people on YouTube. Charles, what's his name? Charles Downing. Charles Downing. He has. Let me see if I can pull it up. Charles Downing. He has a lot of. He grows plants in his greenhouse. Hello, everyone. I am new here. Hello, how are you? Learning to grow my own. I decided to overwinter some of my peppers and have a ghost pepper growing that I need to harvest. I put the plants with my other house plants in front of my big window where they get a lot of sun. Yeah, so that's another thing. You know, you can bring in the peppers and so forth that they can grow. Um, Let me see. Charles. Yeah, Charles Downing with the no dig method. You might want to try him out because he talks about extending the winter, the harvesting, and that one should continue. He says soil doesn't need to rest, so keep growing. He has a lot of um, videos about winter sowing. I'm just pulling him up here. And he will show you how you could do it using your greenhouse to extend that. And the My Gardener, M.I. Gardener, he also talks about crops you can direct sow before your last frost, and growing during the winter. So that's that's something to consider. I'm gonna just show you what his channel looks like. I don't know if it's kind of hard here, but that's him. The no dig method. The no dig method. And that will give you some ideas. Anyway, it would be something for you to watch to figure out how to do that with the greenhouse. But anyway, um, I'm glad that you all are interested, and I think that is something that we need to consider. That looks very intriguing. Yes, Charles Dowling, and he has what is called the no dig method, which is what I've been using too, and it's fantastic. Um, Yes, the soil doesn't need to rest, but I do. I'm only growing a few plants close to where I can get to without going out into the cold. Yeah, that's true too. Deborah, that's a good point also. Yeah, along with all of this still, we don't want to wear ourselves out as well. So, everything in moderation. Only thing I bring in is all my tropical fruit, and I'm in zone 6B, my first year gardening. Oh, well, you're doing really good. Your tropical fruit, that's really good. What is your first name? Learning to grow my own. Um, so glad that you came to join us. My name is Catherine, and you're here at Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, 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 grow together. And we are just talking about this topic here, but we talk about other topics too. And we are a really wonderful growing community. I don't know where everybody is today, but they're probably all getting ready for the holidays. But for Thanksgiving. I did want to talk a little bit about that as well. But I just, as I said, because I just experienced my first frost, but I noticed that my vegetables were still standing. And realizing that I don't have to shut things down just yet, but that knowing that they are still surviving the winter, they can survive a mild frost. Well, how can I make this happen so that I can eat from the garden and continue to get nutritious food from the garden? Yeah, Francesca, you have snow already. Well, anyway, this article that I'm reading or looking at is called Farm Fresh for Life. That's the name of the article. And how to eat fresh food from your garden year round. How to eat fresh food from your garden year round. Not much gardening is going on right now, as we know, but that we can still be able to harvest. And the person was talking about Mike. Oh, hi, Mike. How are you? Yes, thank you. Um, 2 inches more coming down now. You have snow coming down. Yeah, but the thing is that we know that it's more better for us to eat from our gardens. It's much more fresher. The food is more nutritiously dense, and that you're gaining more strength from that. So it is a good thing to eat from the garden. And how can you extend that? But we also know that we've been harvesting our foods. We have our different foods that we've been storing up, like, for example, with my pumpkins and things that I've stored up, and um, with my zucchinis and tomatoes and other things like that. What grow zone are you all in? I am in zone 6, zone 6. Most of the people here are in zone 6 as well. Some are in other zones, but most of us are around zones 7, 6, and 5. I have some people who come on. Um, Sonia is, though, in Cali. She's in 8B high desert. So hers is a little more tricky. But yet we can all glean from each other and gain some tips. Yeah, and Deborah as well. But some of the things that you can grow that will grow are herbs. Herbs are must-have growing as far, and they're easy. You can grow herbs indoors, and herbs grow well from containers as well. So that might be something that you could grow in a container and have close by and provide some kind of covering for them. The root vegetables, with the carrots and beets, that's possible. And then kale, as we know, kale. Um, let's see. They were talking about spinach. Spinach is another um, that's good for salads and so forth that you can have for winter salads. Swiss chard, lettuce, um, and it's something to think about. I just wanted to bring it up. I just wanted to bring it up. Something to think about. You said that you're in 6B? Okay. In Connecticut. Oh. Hey Yami, how are you? Yeah, well then you are in a good group. We're a good group. That's where most of the people who've come, they're in this in 6, in zone 6 or zone 7, zone 5, and then we have our outliers in zones 8 and so forth. But everyone is welcome. And yeah, we all experience some form of frost and winter, winter conditions. So, yeah, as Deborah said, though, which is really a good thing, is that this is also a good time for us to rest and get some rest from our gardens. I used container gardening this year and grow bags. I did awesome harvest, lots of healthy food. Yes, and that is also a good way to extend your gardening into the winter time too, because with the grow bags and the pots, you can actually find a sunny location for your plants, and then provide some kind of covering for them so that you'll be able to extend your eating season, especially with the lettuce and the winter greens. So you could grow in pots indoors during the winter or protect them with a greenhouse, like if you have a plastic cover greenhouse. But find the south side, southern side where the sun comes in and brightest, to warm them and keep them sheltered. And then if it's a really cold night, you could possibly cover them with a blanket or a grow cover. And that will help you to continue extending your growing and eating, even if it's just, I think, to be able to go out and cut a couple of fresh, salads for the day, just to get in some fresh greens. That is one way that you can continue to grow even in the winter. And we don't know what is ahead. We still want to make sure that we have enough food or ways to feed ourselves and our family. But also, we know that eating fresh, anything, any part of it fresh, is better than just eating from the supermarket, because we don't know how long they have been sitting on the docks. Your food sitting on the docks, and what kind of chemicals have been placed on them. But this way, if we can continue to even just get a couple of fresh kale leaves to add to our soup, or to create a smoothie or something, that it will help to keep our bodies strong. And that's what I've been doing. Been eating, making myself soups and stews, as I had caught a really bad cold, and I just needed to build up my immune system, even just to make that couple of hot cup of tea or something, to boil a tea. It's such a good thing. Hey, good. Hello, Catherine, everyone in the chat. Hi, Thelma, I was there talking about you, because we were talking about winter gardening, and you did a little video, in which you had covered you created you had some pots, and you covered them, and you grew your lettuce and your spinach and so forth on the deck, and you were able to eat lettuce and greens during the winter time, right? Learning to grow on my own. Wait a moment. You all are going kind of fast here. So Francesca is in zone 3. Yeah, she's in the cold region. Yeah, she's in Minnesota. Yes, yummy. Hey, Thelma. Yes. Yeah, so Thelma did this before. You would do it good. I'm so glad you can, because you can help me with this. Yes, I'm doing the same this year. That's what Thelma said. Yeah, and so Sonia's interested in this. Yeah, she has greenhouses, and she's interested in extending. So you definitely got to get those videos out so that we can share. But yeah, the whole idea of extending your eating, and even being able to make a winter salad, and to eat fresh. And that's what you did, right? You were able to make your winter salads and eat fresh during the winter time. Um, that's a good thing. But as Deborah said too, we also don't want to wear ourselves out as well. Um, but hopefully you have been able to store a lot of your vegetables and harvest them in. She said, I have 3 tower containers on the deck. Yes, that is exactly what Deborah was saying. She got those grow towers from the Dollar Tree, and that's what she's been using on her deck to grow her salads and greens. Yes, excellent. Did you use grow bags too, Yankee sister? Thelma, because Mike said he used grow bags and container gardening, and that he's really set up for doing that, for extending his growing, his eating, isn't doesn't he? Yeah, he has that possibility. He's able to do that. So that's a good thing. Well, that helps me. That makes me feel very happy. I know that this is the benefits of all of this, or even thinking about it and thinking about how can you continue to eat as healthy as possible. The health benefits, not this year. Bags have mixed reviews in the winter. Oh, okay. Okay. So you think more like the grow pots, the stackables are the best way to grow? And then do you put plastic? You put plastic around them, right, to protect them from the wind and the snow and so forth. Yeah. Like if you have like a plastic greenhouse, like how I had, I think that might also work to grow some of them because it will get the heat during the summer. Hey, don't hurt the harvest. How are you? Hello. Yes. Pots and hard containers, yes, yeah. Or if you have a cold frame or unheated greenhouse too, will help. Some kind of plastic protector, yeah, can help. So it's something to think about, something for you all to research, and and I hope that it just inspires you if you are interested in extending your growing season and just wanting to eat fresh, continuing to eat. Hey, oh, look at the queen of pots here. Yes, hello, Miss Catherine, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Yes, G Mama Grows has a greenhouse. Everybody, make sure that you subscribe to G Mama Grows channel. She's just decided to share her wisdom with us. And so I just watched one of her videos too. Um, and she's a container gardener, but also extending it into the winter so that she eats fresh during the winter, right, G Mama? You eat during you are you grow during the winter time too, don't you? Do you grow lettuce and so forth in your greenhouse as well? And those green leafy vegetables in your container gardening? I think she does. But anyway, um, yeah, so it is possible. As I said, there are people who have some really great videos on that. I know that I'm just giving you um, uh, we're just having this discussion that yes, it is possible. Yes, it is possible to. Yes, ma'am. Thanks, Miss Catherine. I grow all kinds of lettuce and greens. Yes, and you do microgreens too, right? Right? Yeah, and you do it during the winter time as well, right? In your greenhouse, your plastic greenhouse, yeah, indoors. But then also, as I said, we could do it on the porch too, that you can grow and extend it, protect it outdoors as well. And that's what Thelma does, and Deborah does as well. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so it is a good thing to do because you want to continue to get Yes, I also have two cold frames that I am storing strawberries with leaves to help insulate. Yes, that is good. That is good. That is good. Yeah, and we don't know what tomorrow holds, but it's good to be aware of how you can feed yourself and feed your family, and that you'll be able to sustain yourself. Because what if something else happens? Who knows? You know, at least you can save some money instead of paying dearly for some lettuce or some greens. You know, those little plastic bags of greens that they have. You can go out into your own garden and just pick a couple of those leaves and add them to a salad or to a stew, or you can grow them and still get the taste from your garden. And what can help you and inspire you is this magazine that I got here, and it shows some of the different, let me see. Especially now with the season that we're in. Like if you have your squashes, say that you store your squashes, well, you see that they have the kale and the other greens added to that dish there. Some sage, like the sage, the herbs, to add as a seasoning into your foods, and to add to flavor, but also to add nutrients. And in your cooking. It looks incredible. It does. It looks so good. I was inspired by it. I have been eating soup steadily because I wasn't feeling so good. So I made myself some beef stew and chicken soup. And we've just been eating like that here. So here, as you can see this here, how just that little bit of greens added to the meal, just to add flavor. They have the parsley and so forth. Basil. You can cut strips of basil to add to your food and side dish. Side sweets. Here, broccoli. Look. And the radishes. Radishes grow in the cold. Broccoli. And now that we're coming up to Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving meals, in this one they added the mince. You can see the peppermints. The mince added to the meals. So that's about it. Let me see what you all were saying here. I missed some of the things. Hello, everyone. I haven't spoken to. Yeah, Deborah's here. My strawberries never do well. Me neither, Yami. I always try to put up a lot in the summer, but I still have to run to the store to get some of the things I can't store up. Yes, that's true, Francesca. Good thing I am making supper for the family and myself because this is making me hungry. I hear you, Francesca. I'm working on more tea leaves to stop buying tea from the store. Excellent, G Mama. I like that idea, the tea leaves. Yeah. I had really started to wanted to create a tea garden. and I got going at it, but I need to continue to be inspired to move forward and to store now the tea leaves. I think I waited a little late with storing my mints and so forth, and they just I'm just starting to learn how they grow and how to move from the fresh and store them mid-season so that I can have them for these times. But I noticed that the mints last a little bit. That's neat. I forgot to dig up my mint. Yeah. The tea gardening. Yes, I did. It worked. It was nice. That time I had lemon verbena and pineapple mint thing and everything. The chamomile. Yeah, and dehydrating that. Yeah, grew so much. The chamomile just self-seeded throughout the garden, and I started to pick some of the flowers and so forth, but I just didn't know what to do with them. That's the next step, really knowing how to take it the distance. But the teas are so good, and with the thyme and the oregano and all of that, and just all the different herbs, drying them and adding them. That also is a way of adding to. Miss Catherine, you had a wonderful tea garden, which inspired me to grow more mints. Yeah, yeah, it was good. I want a tea garden. Please do another video. That's gonna be for next year. I hope mine spreads. Yeah, you remember we were talking about the different mints. You know, Bev, I don't see Gardens of Me is not on today, but she definitely was an inspiration with that. But you want to do a tea garden again? Yes, if there were aromatic that would make it amazing. Yes, yes, it would. Yeah, but all of that is really good. So, people, I'm glad that you all are interested in the tea gardens. Maybe I need to create a new section just for that again, to do that again. Yes, because that was good. Yes, mint can be prolific. It will spread. But the thing is that I find too, though, after a while they do. Yeah, tea time sounds fun. Yes. But it seems like after a while they die back too, or they get submerged together. Let's do a tea garden next year. Yay! Yes, we'll start again with a tea garden. I know Bev would love that. She's definitely our tea garden person. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad we're leaving on a happy note because I felt that we were dragging a little bit. But this tea garden idea again is something that we'll start. Thank you, G Mama. Can't wait for bringing that back to our attention. So we're gonna think about an herbal tea garden, and think about herbs as well. Other herbs like um, oregano and thyme and all of the other chamomile. I hope that spreads. Yeah, the chamomile does spread. It sells seeds. And I found it just growing up. I had gotten some chamomile seeds. Yeah, I think it was a Dollar Tree. Yeah, I love tea. Yes. I usually, as I said, I usually drink mine fresh, the fresh teas, the fresh leaves, but I've never really gotten into. I tried to do it to dry the leaves and so forth. There were some other garden YouTubers that I was watching, and they were inspiring me to push to dry my own tea leaves. The New Orleans gardener. Yeah, the New Orleans gardener. She did a couple of videos on that, as well as Angela's Busy Bee Homestead. She had an easy method, excuse me, of how to go about drying the tea leaves and so forth. So, what's TNOG mean? Yeah. Chamomile seeds are so small, they'll spread too. Oh, they sure will. They will spread all over. But they're so pretty, the flowers. You know what happens to me? I get so caught up with the beauty of the plant. I love the flowers. Anything that flowers just it really excites me. And So, Sage, I didn't realize that Sage has a beautiful, yeah, the New Orleans gardener. Yes. Yeah, she does a lot of she did videos when I used to watch. I don't watch her as much now, but when I used to watch in the past, she had a lot of videos on um, teas of drying tea leaves. And do you all know Angela Busy Bee Homestead? She also loves to dry herbs and things like, dry herbs and store them. She had a couple of videos on that as well. Easy videos where you could use the paper bag method to dry, and or the dry rack. Yeah, yeah, Angela's good. I haven't connected with her in a while, though. Yeah, but yeah, that is something we can plan. Let's do another tea garden for next year. I did that a year ago. Before I did the kitchen garden, I had a tea garden. Remember when I created the tea garden? I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, so we could do that again. I'll have find a new location or do it in pots. Yes, I know Angela's busy bee. I need to catch up with her too. Yeah, yeah, and find out how she's going. Well, that's pretty much it. The other thing that I was thinking of is that getting ready. Next week we'll talk about. It will be Thanksgiving, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So we'll be talking about your Thanksgiving spread and what are you going to be eating on your Thanksgiving table? Do you have your sweet potatoes and your broccoli and your different dishes that you're going to be putting together? And the other thing that I want to say too is that, keep a positive attitude. Start to prepare yourself to know how you're going to enjoy your how to prepare for family gatherings and how to have a happy family time. Remember to set boundaries. Get prepared in your mind when you're going to be meeting your family members. How are you going to handle them? I was thinking that would be a good topic for next week. And stocking up my canning pantry, 20 new tomato sauces, caramelizing onions. You are something else, Thelma. Wow. I am not into canning, and it doesn't seem to interest me. But the onions thing sound really good. The caramelizing the onions, that sounds interesting. I need to find a way to grow my onions and garlic. And onions and garlic is actually, onions and garlic, growing onions and garlic is actually a good thing to get it fresh from the ground. Have a G8 night, everyone. Yeah, we're going to be saying goodbye because my phone is about to die. Sage, basil, and different herbs to season my Thanksgiving meal. Yay! Yes, Deborah. Well, anyway, thank you all for coming on. And thank you so much for the inspiration. And I hope it just got you thinking about and spreading you as well, sweets. Yes. G Mama Gross, thank you for coming on Thelma and everyone. And welcome to Mike, who's joined us today. And to anyone else who watches, just think about this. It's a question. How can you extend your growing? And would you want to? And if you can, is it possible? And just think about how you can continue to eat well and stay healthy. Yes, so thank you so much for coming to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, 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 grow together. In Catherine's Garden and Home, that's right. Grow, 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 grow together. Grow, 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 grow together. Grow, 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 grow together. In Catherine's Garden and Home. Catherine's Garden and Home. Grow, grow, yummy. Grow, grow, Deborah. Grow, grow, G Mama grows. Grow, grow, Sonia. Grow, grow, Francesca. Grow, grow, Thelma. Grow, grow, Sonia. Grow, 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 grow together. Grow, 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 grow together. Grow, 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 grow together. Grow, Mike. And Catherine's Garden and Home. That's right. Catherine's Garden and Home. Thelma. Catherine's Garden and Home. Grow, grow. We're gonna grow a tea garden. Yeah, we're gonna grow a tea garden. We're gonna grow a tea garden for 2023. Yes. Oh, yes. Have a wonderful night. Blessings, everyone. Enjoy your week. Have a good time. And I'll see you next Wednesday. And Wednesday, we're going to talk pre-Thanksgiving preparations. How are we going to handle the family? Have a great day. Love you all. Bye. Grow, 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 grow together. Grow, 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 grow together. Grow, 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 grow together. Catherine's Garden and Home. Have a good night. Bye. Bye, Sonia. Love you all. Have a great night. Bye.